The planet we live on is stranger, more extreme, and more mind-bending than most people ever realize. Here are 100 incredible geography facts from around the world. Fact 100: Russia's time zone madness. Russia spans 11 time zones. When it's Monday in Moscow, it's already Tuesday in the Far East. It covers 11% of Earth's entire landmass. Fact 99: Africa's true size. Standard maps shrink Africa dramatically. The US, China, India, and most of Europe fit inside it simultaneously, with room to spare. Fact 98: Canada's endless coast. Canada has 125,567 miles of coastline, nearly 15% of Earth's entire coastline belonging to one country. Fact 97: Vatican's impossible existence. Vatican City covers 0.17 square miles, yet is a fully sovereign nation with its own military and currency, sitting entirely inside Rome. Fact 96: The Dead Sea still dropping. The Dead Sea sits 1,412 feet below sea level and drops 3 more feet every year. The lowest point on Earth keeps getting lower. Fact 95: The world's loneliest point. Point Nemo in the South Pacific is farther from land than anywhere else on Earth. The nearest humans are usually astronauts on the ISS overhead. Fact 94: Greenland's medieval lie. Greenland is 80% permanent ice. Iceland is green and geothermally active. Norse settlers deliberately swapped the names as a medieval immigration trick. Fact 93: The Sahara was a jungle. The Sahara was a lush savanna just 11,000 years ago. A shift in Earth's orbital cycle transformed it entirely into desert. It isn't permanent. It's a phase. Fact 92: Everest doesn't hold all records. Everest is highest above sea level. Chimborazo is farthest from Earth's core. Mauna Kea is tallest from its ocean floor base. Everest holds one record, not all of them. Fact 91: Saudi Arabia has no rivers. Saudi Arabia, one of Earth's largest countries, has 0 permanent rivers. It runs entirely on ancient underground fossil water that is not being replenished. Fact 90: Antarctica hides a continent. Beneath Antarctica's mile-thick ice lies a hidden continent of mountains and valleys unexposed to air for millions of years. Fact 89: Istanbul on 2 continents. Turkey sits on both Europe and Asia. You can stand on one Istanbul bridge with 1 foot on each continent simultaneously. Fact 88: The invisible waterfall. The Denmark Strait Cataract is a waterfall 11,500 feet deep underwater, carrying 5 times more water than all land waterfalls combined. Fact 87: The Aral Sea disaster. The Aral Sea was once the 4th largest lake on Earth. Soviet irrigation drained it to 10% of its volume. Ships now rust in desert miles from any water. Fact 86: The invisible mountain range. The mid-ocean ridge runs 40,389 miles through every major ocean, the longest mountain range on Earth. Nobody can see it because it's entirely underwater. Fact 85: Country inside a country. Lesotho is a fully sovereign nation located entirely within South Africa's borders, completely surrounded by a single other country. Fact 84: Earth's coldest temperature. The coldest temperature ever recorded was -128.6 degrees Fahrenheit at Vostok Station, Antarctica. A research station operates there continuously anyway. Fact 83: The Amazon's flood season. During flood season, the Amazon basin floods so extensively that dolphins swim through what are normally treetops. Fact 82: The lake that suffocates. Lake Nyos in Cameroon released a CO2 cloud in 1986 that silently suffocated 1,800 people and 3,500 livestock within hours. It looks completely calm. Fact 81: The most remote island. Bouvet Island in the South Atlantic sits 1,600 miles from the nearest land with no population, no airport, and no harbor. It exists primarily to exist. Fact 80. Two rivers connect naturally. Venezuela's Casiquiare Canal is a natural waterway connecting the Amazon and Orinoco river systems, so unusual explorers refused to believe it existed until 1800. Fact 79. New Zealand's empty arrival. New Zealand was the last major landmass settled by humans, Maori arriving just 700 years ago to an ecosystem isolated for 80 million years. Fact 78. Brazil built a capital from scratch. Brazil built Brasilia entirely from uninhabited wilderness in just 41 months. Today, it holds over 3 million people. Fact 77. Chicago's backward river. Chicago permanently reversed the Chicago River in 1900. It has been flowing the wrong way for over 120 years. Fact 76. The highest navigable lake. Lake Titicaca sits at 12,507 feet above sea level. Full-size steamships operate on it. People live on floating reed islands on its surface. Fact 75. The lungs being removed. The Amazon produces 20% of Earth's oxygen and contains 10% of all species. 17% has been destroyed in the last 50 years. Fact 74. The desert that never sees rain. Some sections of Chile's Atacama have never recorded measurable rainfall. NASA tests Mars rovers there. Nothing on Earth better resembles Mars. Fact 73. Hawaii, still growing. Active lava from Kilauea regularly adds new land to Hawaii. A new island, Loihi, is currently forming underwater right now. Fact 72. The country sinking into ocean. The Maldives averages just 4.9 feet above sea level, potentially the first country in history rendered uninhabitable simply by the ocean reclaiming its land. Fact 71. The lake with no agreed border. Germany, Austria, and Switzerland share Lake Constance, but have never formally agreed where their borders run through it. 3 nations. 1 lake. No legal boundaries. Fact 70. The continent. Nobody owns. Antarctica has no government and no civilian residents. It belongs to everyone and no one under a treaty signed by 54 nations. Fact 69. The world's deepest river. The Congo reaches depths over 720 feet. Sunlight never reaches its lowest channels. It also crosses the equator twice, something no other major river does. Fact 68. K2's deadly statistics. K2 kills 1 climber for every 4 who reach the summit. It was considered completely unclimbable in winter until February 2021. Fact 67. Canada's lake monopoly. Canada contains approximately 60% of all natural lakes in the world, over 3 million. Most have never had a human standing on their shores. Fact 66. The volcano that broke climate. The 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora was so powerful that 1816 became the year without a summer, triggering crop failures and famine across the northern hemisphere. Fact 65. The river that disappears. Africa's Okavango River flows inland and vanishes into the Kalahari Desert, creating an inland delta before evaporating completely. It never reaches the ocean. Fact 64. The sea with no shore. The Sargasso Sea is the only sea defined entirely by ocean currents rather than land. No coast, no shore, just 4 currents holding it in place. Fact 63. The mountains still growing. The Himalayas are still rising as India pushes into Eurasia at 1.5 inches per year. Everest gains 0.16 inches in height every year. Fact 62. A new ocean forming. The East African Rift is slowly splitting Africa apart. In approximately 10 million years, a new ocean will form where dry land currently sits. Fact 61. The land bridge that populated a continent. During the last ice age, The Bering Strait was a land bridge over 1,000 miles wide. The entire population of the Americas walked across it. Fact 60. The 1,700-year Republic San Marino, surrounded by Italy, covering just 24 square miles, was founded in 301 AD. It outlasted every empire that swept through Europe. Fact 59. 4 countries. 1 point. Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Namibia all meet at a single point. You can stand touching borders of 4 nations simultaneously. Fact 58. The sealed underground lake. Lake Vostok beneath Antarctica has been sealed from the outside world for 25 million years. Scientists who drilled into it found living microbes inside. Fact 57. The Pacific's hidden scale. The Pacific Ocean covers more area than all Earth's landmasses combined. An entire second Earth, land only, could fit inside it. Fact 56. Iceland being pulled apart. Iceland sits directly on the mid-Atlantic ridge, literally being pulled apart by 2 tectonic plates. It experiences a volcanic eruption approximately every 4 to 5 years. Fact 55. Lake Baikal's water volume. Lake Baikal contains 20% of all unfrozen freshwater on Earth, more than all 5 Great Lakes combined. It's also the world's deepest lake at 5,387 feet. Fact 54. Bolivia's sky-high capital. La Paz. Bolivia is the world's highest administrative capital at 11,942 feet above sea level, where the air contains significantly less oxygen than at sea level. Fact 53. The nation negotiating its exit. Tuvalu's government has already negotiated land deals with New Zealand to relocate its entire population as sea levels rise and consume the island. Fact 52. The world's largest salt mirror. Bolivia's Salar de Uyuni covers 4,086 square miles. After rain, a thin water layer transforms it into the world's largest natural mirror. Fact 51. The world's densest nation. Monaco covers just 0.78 square miles, yet has a higher population density than any other nation on Earth. The entire country fits in one zip code. Fact 50. The living structure seen from space. Australia's Great Barrier Reef stretches 1,400 miles, the largest living structure on Earth, visible from space, containing more biodiversity than all of Europe's forests. Fact 49. The Netherlands built its own land. The Netherlands reclaimed approximately 17% of its total land area from the sea. Without continuous pumping, large sections would be underwater within days. Fact 48. Japan's tectonic nightmare. Japan sits at the intersection of 4 tectonic plates, experiences 1,500 earthquakes per year, and contains 10% of all active volcanoes on Earth. Fact 47. The Philippines island count. The Philippines comprises over 7,600 islands, yet only about 2,000 are inhabited. Its coastline of 22,549 miles is the 5th longest in the world. Fact 46. Antarctica's 4 records. Antarctica is simultaneously the coldest, driest, windiest, and highest continent on Earth. 4 extreme records held by one continent. Fact 45. Tigers in the mangroves. The Sundarbans in Bangladesh and India covers 4,000 square miles, the world's largest mangrove forest and home to the largest Bengal tiger population on Earth. Fact 44. Norway's impossible coastline. Norway's coastline, measuring all fjords and islands, stretches 63,000 miles. If straightened, it would circle Earth more than twice. Fact 43. Angel Falls evaporates midair. Angel Falls in Venezuela drops 3,212 feet. It is so tall that much of the water evaporates or turns to mist before ever reaching the ground. Fact 42. China's one time zone. China spans 5 geographic time zones, but operates on a single national time. Sunrise in Western China can occur as late as 10 a.m. by the clock. Fact 41. Earth's hidden 8th continent. Zealandia is a continent 94% submerged beneath the Pacific. New Zealand is its only significant above-water land, formally recognized as a continent only in 2017. Fact 40. The fence longer than the Great Wall. Australia's Dingo Fence stretches 3,488 miles, longer than the Great Wall of China, built to keep wild dingoes away from southeastern livestock. Fact 39. The river with no delta. The Congo River has no significant delta. Instead, it plunges directly into an underwater canyon, one of the largest submarine canyons in the world. Fact 38. Indonesia's island empire. Indonesia comprises over 17,000 islands stretching across 3,200 miles of ocean. Laid end to end, they would circle more than halfway around Earth. Fact 37. The largest recorded landslide. When Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980, the resulting landslide was the largest in recorded history, instantly removing 1,300 feet from the summit. Fact 36. The annual dead zone. Every summer, a massive oxygen-depleted dead zone forms in the Gulf of Mexico from fertilizer runoff. At its largest, it covered 8,700 square miles, where virtually nothing can live. Fact 35. Earth's deepest canyon. The Yarlung Changpo. Grand Canyon in Tibet reaches depths of 17,567 feet, deeper than the Grand Canyon, and one of the least explored places on Earth. Fact 34. Finland's lake obsession. Finland has approximately 188,000 lakes, covering nearly 10% of its entire surface area. More lakes per square mile than virtually any other country. Fact 33. India's ongoing collision. India was once a separate landmass that collided with Asia 50 million years ago, creating the Himalayas. India is still moving north. The collision is still happening. Fact 32. The coldest inhabited town. Oymyakon in Siberia recorded minus 90 degrees Fahrenheit in 1933. Cars run continuously in winter because engines freeze if turned off. Around 500 people live there year-round. Fact 31. The world's largest delta. The Ganges-Brahmaputra. Delta covers approximately 41,000 square miles. The world's largest river delta. Home to over 140 million people on one of Earth's most flood-prone landscapes. Fact 30. 9 miles. That control global trade. The Strait of Gibraltar is only 9 miles wide, the only Atlantic connection to the Mediterranean. Control of those 9 miles has determined the fate of empires for thousands of years. Fact 29. The Nile built a civilization. The Nile flows north through 11 countries for 4,130 miles. Ancient Egyptian civilization was built entirely on its annual flood cycle, depositing rich sediment across desert land. Fact 28. The world's largest wetland. Brazil's Pantanal covers up to 75,000 square miles during flood season. The world's largest tropical wetland and home to the highest concentration of crocodilians on Earth. Fact 27. The home of the blizzard. Commonwealth Bay in Antarctica regularly records winds above 150 miles per hour, the strongest average winds of any place on Earth. Fact 26. The ice sheet that would drown cities. The Antarctic ice sheet contains 60% of all fresh water on Earth's surface. If it melted entirely, global sea levels would rise 200 feet. Fact 25. The equator without heat. Quito, Ecuador sits at 9,350 feet above sea level almost exactly on the equator, yet has a mild spring-like climate year-round, the equator without the heat. Fact 24. The cave with its own weather. Son Dung Cave in Vietnam is large enough to contain a 40-story skyscraper. It has its own internal weather system and its own jungle growing inside it. Fact 23. Panama's 50-mile shortcut. Just 50 miles separates the Atlantic from the Pacific at Panama's narrowest point. The canal reduced the shipping route between oceans from 13,000 miles to 50. Fact 22. The saltiest water on Earth. Don Juan Pond in Antarctica is 40% salinity compared to the ocean's 3.5%, and stays liquid even at minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Fact 21. Australia drifting north. Australia moves north at 2.7 inches per year, the fastest moving continent on Earth. GPS coordinates need periodic recalibration just to remain accurate. Fact 20. Bangladesh is made of rivers. Approximately 1/3 of Bangladesh's entire land area floods every monsoon season. Bangladesh isn't near its rivers. It is made of them. Fact 19. The Atlantic is growing. The Atlantic widens by 1.5 inches per year as the Americas drift from Europe and Africa. The Pacific simultaneously contracts. One growing, one shrinking, both right now. Fact 18. Japan moved 8 feet. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake was so powerful, it shifted the entire island of Honshu 8 feet to the east in a matter of minutes. Fact 17. The underground town. Coober Pedy in Australia is so brutally hot that most residents live underground in homes carved into hillsides. It also produces over 70% of the world's opal supply. Fact 16. The largest landlocked country. Kazakhstan covers 1.05 million square miles with no ocean access. The world's largest landlocked country. Fact 15. One mountain, 5 climates. Mount Kilimanjaro passes through 5 distinct climate zones from base to summit. Tropical rainforest, heath, moorland, alpine desert, and Arctic summit, all on one mountain. Fact 14. Earth's oldest rainforest. Borneo's rainforest is approximately 140 million years old, nearly 3 times older than the Amazon, divided between 3 sovereign nations on one island. Fact 13. The Mediterranean is closing. The Mediterranean Sea is slowly shrinking as the African plate pushes into Europe. In 50 million years, it will close completely, creating a mountain range where the sea currently sits. Fact 12. The world's largest river island. Majuli Island in India's Brahmaputra River is the world's largest river island at approximately 350 square miles, and is shrinking as currents erode its banks every year. Fact 11. The river that feeds 6 nations. The Mekong flows through China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, supporting approximately 60 million people who depend directly on it for food and water. Fact 10. Yellowstone's overdue clock. Yellowstone contains over half the world's geysers and sits above a supervolcano that erupts catastrophically every 600,000 years on average. The last eruption was 640,000 years ago. Fact 9. The continent that was tropical. Antarctica was covered in tropical forest 90 million years ago. Fossils of palm trees have been discovered beneath the ice. The coldest place on Earth was once a jungle. Fact 8. The world's most tsunami-prone coast. Japan has been struck by over 195 recorded tsunamis since 684 AD, more than any other country. Its tectonic position makes devastating tsunamis a permanent geographic reality. Fact 7. The Amazon's mouth width. The Amazon River's mouth stretches up to 30 miles wide where it meets the Atlantic Ocean, wider than the entire length of some countries. Fact 6. The world's most active geyser field. Yellowstone contains over half of all the world's geysers concentrated in one park, sitting above a supervolcano in Wyoming. Fact 5. The island nobody can agree on. Borneo is divided between Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei simultaneously, the only island on Earth governed by 3 sovereign nations at once. Fact 4. The river that never rests. Kilauea in Hawaii has been erupting almost continuously since 1983, one of the most persistently active volcanoes on Earth for over 4 decades. Fact 3. The sunken continent nobody knew about. Zealandia, 94% underwater, is larger than India, yet remained unrecognized as a continent until 2017. An entire continent was hiding in plain sight beneath the Pacific. Fact 2. The world's deepest lake could fill every river. At current flow rates, it would take all the world's rivers combined over a year to fill Lake Baikal. It holds more fresh water than any lake on Earth. Fact 1. The planet never stopped changing. Every mountain, ocean, continent, and coastline is temporary. The Atlantic didn't exist 180 million years ago. The Himalayas are still growing. The Sahara was a jungle 11,000 years ago. The map you learned in school is a single frozen frame from a 4.5 billion year film that has never once stopped playing.